Jeffrey Epstein, Son of Sam, and Red Dawn are all on this day. Hey, welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is August 10th, 2020. It is the 223rd day of the year. There's 143 days left. It is the 51st day of summer. There's only 43 days left until fall. If today's your birthday, you're a Leo, in case you didn't know your zodiac sign. Today is National Lazy Day. National Lazy Day encourages the act of being lazy. I'm very good at this. This observance allows for individuals to take a break to manage stress. Many individuals who are lazy are often more resourceful. I don't know about that one. One other thing, it's also National S'more Day. National S'more Day, kind of goes well with Lazy Day. Anyway, it promotes the consumption of the treat. S'mores are typically made with graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate. Then, the marshmallows are usually roasted over a fire or oven and placed between the graham cracker and a chocolate of some sort. The recipe for s'mores first appeared in the 1927 guidebook called Tramping and Trailing with the Girl Scouts. That doesn't even sound right. I know tramping doesn't really mean tramping, but they should really have thought that one out. S'mores are typically popular in the summertime, as you can imagine. All right, let's see what else August 10th has given us. 1901, the U.S. steel recognition strike begins. After technological advances had reduced the number of skilled workers in both the iron and steel industry, the strike was formed to reverse their declining need for these workers. They're trying to turn back technology in time, I guess. The strike lasted over a month and was ultimately a failure. Side note to this, I watched this guy do a TED Talks, and I wish I could remember who it was. And I kind of tried to look it up, I couldn't find it. Anyway, one thing that stuck out was he talked about robotics and automation. In it, he gave the numbers, but those two things kill more jobs in this country and most countries than any other factor. I thought that was crazy. We're basically building things that are putting us all out of work. But I guess that's technology and advancement. 1932, an 11-pound meteorite breaks into at least 7 pieces and lands near the town of Archie, Missouri. 3 fragments were found within the first 2 days following the strike, and the others were found in October of that same year. In 1932, this was big news. 1949, an amendment to the National Security Act of 1947 enhances the authority of the United States Secretary of Defense over the Army, Navy, and Air Force and replaces the national military establishment with the Department of Defense, which we all know and love to this day. At least I knew and loved them. They gave me a lot of paychecks. 1961, during the Vietnam War, the U.S. Army begins Operation Ranch Hand, spraying an estimated 20 million U.S. gallons of herbicide over rural areas of South Vietnam in an attempt to deprive the Viet Cong of food and vegetation used to cover their movements. This was Agent Orange, another great product by the U.S. Chemical Corps. 1969, a day after murdering Sharon Tate and 4 others, members of the Charles Manson's cult kill Leno and Rosemary LaBianca. It's like the day for serial killers. 1977, in Yonkers, New York, 24-year-old postal employee David Berkowitz, known as the Son of Sam, is arrested for a series of killings in the New York City area over the period of 1 year. 1981, Adam Walsh, the son of John Walsh, who did America's Most Wanted, his body was found, well, parts of his body. It's really gross and I'm not going to get into it. 1988, U.S. President Ronald Reagan signs the Civil Liberties Act of 1988, providing $20,000 payments to Japanese Americans who were either interned in or relocated by the United States during World War II. Now, that's a really bad situation. A lot of these people had farms, they had businesses, and they were just shut down and sent to these internment camps. Now, there was a serious amount of paranoia going on since the Pearl Harbor attack towards Japanese Americans. And it's just unfortunate. These were true Americans that were just living here and they just got swept up in this whole thing. Really a sad situation. I did a lot of reading on it when I was in high school and it was just, I couldn't believe it happened back then. 1995, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols are indicted for the Oklahoma City bombing. Michael Frontier takes a plea bargain for his testimony. This was a domestic terrorist truck bombing of the Oklahoma City Federal Building. For these individuals, it was a way to get back at the FBI for how they handled the 1992 standoff at Ruby Ridge, as well as the Waco siege in 1993. It was a 51-day standoff between the FBI and the Branch Davidians. The only decent thing Timothy McVeigh did was waive the rest of his appeals and just took his death penalty. He finally was put to death on June 11th, 2001. Movies released on August 10th, 1984, Red Dawn, Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, Jennifer Grey, Harry Dean Stanton. They had so many people in this movie. It was a great movie. If you were about my age, you remember 1984, we're in the middle of the Cold War with Russia. We're going to be invaded, nuclear war at any time. That was the American conscience at the time. This movie came out, and it's about the Russians actually invading the United States, and these high school kids from like Montana or Wyoming, Idaho, something like that, fight back. Great movie. They did a remake where North Korea invaded us. It sucked, but this movie was great. Also released on August 10th, 2011, The Help. This is a really, really good movie. Well acted, great story. If you ever get a chance, watch The Help. It's a drama. Don't expect a bunch of action out of it, but it's a good movie. Born on August 10th, 1874, Herbert Hoover, American engineer, politician. He was the 31st president of the United States. He died in 1964. I watched this thing on presidents, and he is considered to be one of the worst we've had ever. Like the top 5 worst. 1992, Michelle Khare. She is one of my favorite YouTubers. I've been watching her for years. She also just got a HBO Max show. I think it premiered in June. Anyway, she's a very talented and athletic young lady. I love her channel. One of the first channels I really got into. 1997, Kylie Jenner is born. American television personality and model. She starred in the series Keeping Up with the Kardashians since 2007, and she's got her own cosmetic company called Kylie Cosmetics. Now, okay, so I hate everything Kardashians. They're just overdone, and I don't get it. I really don't. But now, if the story of her and her cosmetic company is true and not just some kind of story for the brand, she's a very smart young lady. She basically had a company put together some cosmetics for her. She slapped her name on it and started selling it, and then opened up a little store or something like that. Last I heard, she was almost a billionaire just from this cosmetic thing alone. That is impressive if that's the real story. Who knows with these people. Died on August 10th, 1932, Rin Tin Tin, American acting dog, probably the second most famous acting animal ever after Lassie. He used to have a TV show. It was way before my time, obviously, if he died in 1932, but I used to see it on reruns and stuff like that. It was weird. I thought it was interesting. 2019, Uber scumbag Jeffrey Epstein commits suicide. Wink, wink. Epstein didn't kill himself. He's an American financier and convicted sex offender. He was convicted in 2008 by a Florida state court for procuring an underage girl for prostitution and soliciting of prostitutes. He served almost 3 months in custody, but with extensive work release. Basically, he got to do whatever he wanted. He was convicted of only 2 of the crimes as part of a controversial plea deal. Federal officials had identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, who Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. He died at the age of 66 due to suicide in a jail cell, which pretty much everyone knows is total BS. I'm sorry, that one irritates me, pisses me off. I have a daughter, I have a granddaughter, and the whole thing gets this lump in my throat. All right, that's enough of that. That's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget all the links below. Give the video a big thumbs up. Go out there, do something with your day, be productive, be nice to each other.